What's going on? Welcome into today's video. As you can see here, we have a trade recap for today. Today was arguably a pretty difficult day for most people to trade because Trump was speaking. We were literally just going sideways for most of the morning. But yeah, it was a pretty difficult day for most people to trade. I ended up green on the day and took 3 really good trades. So now it's time to sit here and break them all down for you. So yeah, I have a completely free 6-hour long course going over my strategy, how I trade prop firms, risk management, literally everything. I made it for you guys completely free. It's the first link in the description. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's trade recap. All right, as you can see, I'm up $4,684.50 today. I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, and now we are faced with this. It might seem a bit overwhelming at first, but let me explain everything I was looking at. So first of all, going into today, we have this volume profile. I like to throw this on my chart at the beginning of basically every session. I've now got it super easy. It's just SVP HD. It's an indicator. I went over it in my last video. So you don't have to plot it each day now. You can literally just have it as an indicator, which I think was pretty cool because I didn't know you could do it before. Anyways, well, what am I looking at going into today? Well, first of all, I know we ranged up pretty hard from Asia session yesterday. So Sunday open, we ranged up, and as you can see, let's just kind of follow this here. We had this pullback around 11 p.m. This was something that was very interesting to me because on the volume profile, we left behind literally no volume over here. Okay, so we do have this low volume node. And the first thing I set out for whenever I got on the charts for New York session is I marked out the OTE of this range. So I took the fib, as you can see right here, I took the fib from the low all the way to the high. So I'm trying to gauge out, all right, where's our equilibrium price based off of using OTE, and then also where my other deviations, like right here. And as you can see here, this low volume node right here lines up perfectly with 705 right here. Okay, I'm going to make that a little easier to see. Let's just do red so it's not yellow. It lines up perfectly there. So my first thing I'm looking at is, all right, low volume node lines up with swing point and 705. That is going to be one of my draws on liquidity. And as you can see, my draw on liquidity wasn't technically correct yet. Okay, it might be for a session in the future, but it wasn't technically correct. Okay, but I was still fairly bearish for a rebalance. So even if we weren't going to go all the way down, I was still short biased because I wanted to see us rebalance the range. So let's just go ahead and go to market open. By the way, I knew that Trump was speaking today, and I didn't even get on the charts at market open. I waited a little while. So yeah, first thing I'm looking at here, we have point of control where the most volume is going to be traded. I try to stay out of trading off of that level too much. It's a really good target, but I try to be careful with that just because that's where a lot of chopping happens. So as you can see here, market opens. We're not really doing anything too significant. Obviously over here, we're sweeping out these highs of our value area high. Really nothing too significant. And then I hopped on live with the Discord, and I did take this little trade right here. Now this was something, it was like a tiny scalp. Honestly, I was targeting the point of control. I had deep charts as my other application opened, and my point of control was a little bit lower, so that was my TP. It was super simple. I'm going to break this down on the 30-second. It was a 1-to-1 risk to reward trade. And it was just a long into the point of control because what we did is we went and we swept out the value area low right here. And I noticed there was a ton of sellers that got trapped. I'm actually going to upload a picture that I posted in my Discord so you guys can see this. It is in my live trading. Yeah, I'm going to send it or show it to you guys right here. This picture right here. So this is what I noticed as this was happening. This is taken off of the platform Deep Charts. And essentially, you can see a lot of sellers got in, but it was a green candle. Okay, so people were slamming sells, but the candle was green, and people were getting trapped at the midpoint there. So I knew right there, this is usually a good area. I mean, we also have value area low. So we have 2 confluences for why we might want to go higher at this point. So it's cool. Then what do we have? We have this fair value gap right here. That goes and gets inversed with a closure right here. I don't get in all the way until this closure up here. And then trade starts running. And then unfortunately, I get break even right here. I moved to break even pretty soon just to kind of manage risk, just in case we didn't want to go down and then sweep out this low. Okay, so I was just trying to be very safe about it, but unfortunately, as you can see, it swept me for break even literally by like 2 points and then ran for my TP. That's okay. I still have more trades left. Okay, so now what am I looking at? All right, 0.5 off of this OTE range from the low all the way up to the high is still exposed. Okay, and a lot of the times the market, whether you're bearish or bullish, the market's going to want to rebalance, okay, at some point. And we've already had enough volume. We're basically going sideways on the higher time frame, even though we're still ranging a little bit. So I want to see us break down. So first thing, right now at this point in time, it's 11:50 a.m. and then Trump speaks at 1. Let's just go ahead and fast forward it a bit until Trump actually gets on. The stream is a couple minutes late, and it's pretty interesting. It looks like traders started front running the stream because we start dumping right there, and he wasn't even on the thing just yet. But yeah, we started kind of dumping through value area low. So now I'm thinking, all right, people are obviously people are pretty short biased here. They want to see us at least break this low and hopefully rebalance to 0.5. Okay. So here's where my first successful trade lines up here for 69 points, a 7 risk to reward. Eventually, you're going to kind of see what I mean here. All right, what do we notice? Trump gets on. So in this range right here, and what I mean by this range is taking it from the high to the low, we go and we manipulate this 30-second fair value gap. Now I start marking out other gaps as well. So first thing, we have a 1 minute here, a 30-second. We have a 1 minute that I marked out that was right here as well. There's a 5 minute above us as well. Like, notice how I'm like marking out all the gaps from the 5 minute, the 3 minute, and the 1 minute. I'm just trying to get a good idea of how it's going to play out, because I also want to measure OTE as well to see if any of this lines up. So I know 0.5 lines up with the 1 minute. And if you know my strategy, you watch the free course, you know that I want to wait ideally for the market to at least manipulate around 0.5, whether we hit 0.5 or we just, we go up there and get the entry, or at least just tap it. There are some times where I will go without it tapping. This might be one of them, but it's fairly important. But sometimes, like on a day like today, like when Trump speaks, sometimes you're not going to get the retracement. I'm not sure if we do, you'll see, but it's usually a good rule of thumb just to kind of increase the win rate. But yeah, we manipulate this 30-second, and then there we go. Okay, so oops, did not mean to move that. It's right here. We manipulate this gap, and then I'm down on the 30-second now. What do I notice? Well, we've got this fair value gap here. I want to see a fat closure below. This isn't really a fat closure, but it's still a closure. So now I'm kind of just waiting. Now we resweep out the high that originally manipulated. So I'm like, okay, resweeps are usually really good signs that you're taking the right setup. So I'm like, all right, now I want an inverse of this gap. We wicked it kind of hard, and now that's our closure. So then I got in short there. Where am I targeting? I targeted a little bit below 0.5. You're going to see why, because I was originally targeting this 705 zone all the way at the bottom, but I started trailing my stop. So you're going to see how that happens here in a second. I really wish I recorded this. So yeah, see how we're dumping very hard. And then once we're about to hit 0.5, once we hit it, I trail my stop, bang, and then I get out there. And then at this point, I'm looking to now continue the short move. Even though we've rebalanced, a lot of the times we'll bounce off of 0.5, and then that is where we're either going to continue lower, or we're going to continue the higher time frame trend to go higher. All right. And just a quick little piece of sauce here for you guys. When the volume profile usually looks like a P like that, a lot of the times the market is just going to tap into levels down here and then want to continue higher. That's just what I've noticed. But yeah, so let's see. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't know why that's there. But yeah, so now I'm looking to continue this just a little bit further down. So what am I looking for? So let's begin on the 1 minute. All right, so the 1 minute, I'm going to move this just so you can see a little bit easier. Actually, I'm just going to delete it. You guys have already seen the trade. We've got this fair value gap right here. I'm looking to see, does the market want to manipulate this? Then I'm going down on the 30-second. And I'm like, all right, the 30-second is the same as the 1 minute, on the bottom at least. Okay, cool. There's also a 1 minute up here. And then 5 minute, we're checking for 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Cool. Okay, 2 minute. All right, we have a 2 minute up here I marked out. So we have the 2 minute, the 1 minute, and the 30-second. The 30-second and the 1 minute are the exact same. So I'm saying, all right, are we going to manipulate this? Cool, we manipulated it. 30-second time frame, 15-second time frame, 15-second right here. I ended up going short I don't believe it was actually off of an inversion. It was literally just off of like a low risk kind of setup. I think it was just like that, a little over a 1-to-1. I kind of just took it out of like discretion. Probably wasn't the best mechanically, but I was still, optimistic about it. I thought it was a good setup, so I took it just off of like the retracement. There might have been like a 5-second IFEG. Yeah, there was, but I entered before it. Honestly, I was just kind of like front running it because I had a lot of, faith in the trade. We get pretty close to take profit. We manipulate a 15-second down here, or I thought we did, never mind. We got this 15-second though. I thought we would go lower. We ended up not, and I moved stop to break even down here. Got break even on the trade. So that was a risk-free trade. Lost no money from that. Now, let's go back to the 1 minute. Let's kind of go a little bit farther up in time. Cool. Now, this is very, very interesting. I took a trade that's a little bit different than usual. So let me delete that. That doesn't apply anymore. So first thing, what am I looking at? We've got this OTE range. We're going to take it from the top all the way to the bottom. All right. We're already trading fairly high up into this OTE range. Okay. And that right there, this wick is what makes me fairly confident we'll go lower just to rebalance a little bit. This is a very interesting trade here because I don't think a lot of people caught this, all right? So this is a very strong wick into that 5-minute fair value gap. And because we wicked over 786, usually, I don't know why 7.9 is not marked out. I have 7.9 marked out instead of 8.6. I'm on a different OTE one, I think. Let's see. Bang. Yeah, I don't know why that one was 786. I was using a different template. But yeah, even though we got a small closure over 7.9, which I never really doing, because we had this big wick right here, this made me think, okay, we might be rejection blocking the 5-minute. We've rallied while Trump is still talking. And it's important to remember a lot of the times it doesn't necessarily matter exactly what Trump says because the market's going to manipulate. So if he says something bullish, it's going to manipulate down first and then go bullish. So there's a lot of manipulation to be put into place. So even if we are bullish, I want to see some sort of rebalance. So first thing I'm thinking, all right, this is probably a rejection block, a zone we might want to reject off of. I'm not going to enter yet, but I'm just going to wait. And right here is where I get my confirmation. We have this fair value gap gets inversed. And then I entered one here. I ended up averaging in 2 minis. So I got my actual averaged in entry all the way down here. 10-point stop, 2.57 risk to reward, targeting this gap right here was where I was going to trail originally. And then this was kind of full TP. And I ended up getting stopped out in profit right here where I end the thing. So there you guys can see, bang, ended up going for full TP, but I trailed my stop to profit. I like doing that just to secure profit. It keeps it safe. So yeah, this is a very hard day for most people to understand. But as you can see, I'm really just trading off of the price action. Basically, all of these were taking off of inverse fair value gaps, except for this one down here. But just noticing how I'm flowing with the market. I'm not really trying to fight too much of anything. And even when I'm wrong, I'm cutting my losses very short. And I'm reading price. I'm not sitting there trying to guess what's next. I'm just, okay, I'm going to react to what it's giving me. I'm going to make educated decisions. This is something up here. I feel like nobody caught this. This is a weird wick. Nobody would have usually caught this, but I was thinking a lot of the times when you have high impact news, like a speech, like FOMC and stuff, what will happen is we'll rally somewhere, but just the first 30 minutes of FOMC usually rallies or dumps, and then the other 30 is to rebalance that rally or dump because the market just can't go in one direction forever, which is why we went lower to 0.5 on this long. And then we ended up we just leave this here, you can see, we end up pumping higher from 0.5. I was wrong about 705 being the draw. I still think this will get hit in the future because this is a crazy low volume node that literally the previous sessions don't have one this crazy. There's literally no volume there. They got transacted. Market is probably going to want to go back to that, Today was honestly a really good day to strictly just trade off the value area highs and lows and stay away from the point of control. Just bouncing off the top and bottom there. Pretty solid, but obviously the market is not going to do that constantly. It's going to want to rebalance. And that's why I trade a continuation model. I'm sitting here I'm going to continue any sort of trend to give me a higher time frame objective. Even though I went short here when we had this big uptrend, it was to continue this short move to rebalance the bigger move and the bigger move to go long. It's just it's all working together. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm not rambling too much. But yeah, so that was like my whole analysis for today. I know a lot of people struggled with this. So I just thought I'd make a video going over the trades I took. And yeah, so there you guys have it. This is a trade recap for today on Hamid, 4.6K. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Like I said, there's a free 6-hour course, first thing in the description. And if you need additional help, I have daily live sessions where I hold you accountable. I answer any of your questions. You get direct access to DMing me any questions you have. Weekly homework assignments, a trade journal, 50 plus educational classes. If you need that additional help, that is the second link in the description under the free course. But yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.